Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing lately. President Trump making an appearance at the LIV Golf event at his own club in Bedminster, New Jersey. And guess what? He got a standing ovation. Now, before we go any further, let me just say, personally, I think this was about as predictable as the sun rising in the east. I mean, it's his golf club. Of course, the crowd is going to cheer. What's really interesting here, though, is the context. LIV Golf has been on a wild ride lately, and Trump's presence at the event adds another layer to the story. First off, let's talk about LIV Golf itself. This upstart tour has been making waves, but it's also been facing some serious challenges. Back in April, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, PAF, announced they were pulling their funding. If you take a step back and think about it, that's a massive deal. The PAF was essentially the lifeline for LIV Golf. Without them, the future looked pretty uncertain. But here's where it gets fascinating. LIV Golf CEO Scott O'Neill recently announced they've got a new investor lined up. Now, the details are still under wraps, but this raises a deeper question. Who is this mystery investor? And what does their involvement mean for the tour's future? From my perspective, this new investor could be a game changer. LIV Golf has been trying to position itself as a legitimate competitor to the PGA Tour, but without stable funding, that's a tough sell. If this investor is as committed as O'Neill suggests, it could give LIV Golf the breathing room it needs to solidify its place in the golf world. But here's the thing, it's not just about the money. It's about the optics. Having Trump show up and get cheered at his own club sends a message. It says, we're here, we're relevant, and we've got support. Now, let's talk about Trump's reception at sporting events in general. It's no secret that his presence divides crowds. UFC fights? Cheers. College football games? More cheers. But a Knicks playoff game? Boos. What many people don't realize is that the reaction often has less to do with the sport itself and more to do with the audience. Golf, especially at a Trump-owned club, skews toward a demographic that's more likely to support him. So, while the cheers might seem like a big deal, they're actually pretty par for the course, no pun intended. But here's a detail I find fascinating. Trump's involvement with LIV Golf isn't just about showing up and waving to the crowd. He's been vocal about his support for the tour, especially after the PIF pulled their funding. In my opinion, this aligns with his broader strategy of positioning himself as a champion of underdog causes. LIV Golf, with its rebellious image and challenges against the established PGA Tour, fits that narrative perfectly. What this really suggests is that Trump sees an opportunity here, not just to boost his own brand, but to tap into a larger cultural conversation about competition and innovation. If you take a step back and think about it, the LIV Golf saga is a microcosm of bigger trends in sports and entertainment. It's about disruption, it's about money, and it's about power dynamics. The PGA Tour has been the dominant force in golf for decades, but LIV Golf is challenging that dominance. And with Trump in the mix, it becomes even more complex. Personally, I think this is one of those stories where the subtext is just as important as the headline. It's not just about a golf event or a standing ovation. It's about what those things represent in a broader context. So, here's my closing thought. What does the future hold for LIV Golf? With a new investor on the horizon and Trump's continued support, it seems like they're not going anywhere anytime soon. But the real question is, can they sustain this momentum? And more importantly, what does their success or failure mean for the world of golf? It's a fascinating time to be a sports fan, and I, for one, will be watching closely to see how this all unfolds. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.